Before we get into today's conversation, I want to acknowledge that this weekend is Father's Day's weekend. And Father's Day can bring up a lot of emotions. For some of you, it is a day of celebration. You had a father who loved you, supported you, affirmed you, and helped you, believed you could do anything. That's awesome. For others, it was more complicated. It reminds you of what was missing, the conversations you never had, the affirmation you never received, the relationship you wish you had and you wished it was different. And for some of you, today is a reminder of grief. A father you miss, a father whose voice you would give anything to hear one more time. Wherever Father's Day finds you this year, I want you to know that this conversation is still for you, because many of your beliefs because many of the beliefs we carry about worth, our voice, and whether we deserve to take up space often begin long before adulthood. They begin in childhood. They begin in places where we learn what is meant to be seen or unseen. And today's conversation matters. Back to Empowered Me. I am Natasha Richards. This is where we talk about emotional intelligence, behavior transformation, and faith-filled growth. Because healing is not just about feeling better, it is about becoming different. Can I ask you a question before we go anywhere today? Who benefits when you keep shrinking? Not who suffers. Who benefits when you keep shrinking? Not who suffers. We know who suffers. You suffer. Your confidence suffers. Your relationships suffer. Your purpose suffers. The people connected to your assignment suffer. My question is different. Who benefits when you stay hidden? Who gets more comfortable because you keep making yourself smaller? I've noticed something about many women. We spend so much time making sure we are not too much that we never stop to ask if we have become too little, too quiet, too accommodating, too available, too willing to sit in the background while everyone else takes center stage. Somewhere along the way, shrinking started feeling responsible. And today, I want to challenge that. Because what if the thing you call humility is actually hiding? What if the thing you call patience is actually fear? What if the thing you call waiting on God is really waiting for permission that God never required? You have spent so much time trying not to be too much that you forgot God never asked you to become less. The reason this matters is because invisibility is never free. Every behavior has a cost. Every pattern has a consequence. The question is whether we are honest enough to calculate the bill. Think about the opportunities you never pursued because you did not feel ready. Think about the conversations you never had because you did not want to make anyone uncomfortable. Think about the business idea still sitting in your notebook. Think about the ministry that never moved beyond a dream. Think about how many times you convinced yourself that your voice was necessary. The cost of invisibility is not just what you lose. The cost of invisibility is the version of yourself that never gets a chance to emerge. It is watching years pass while potential stays trapped inside possibility. It is carrying something valuable and never allowing it to serve the people it was meant to reach. The saddest thing is not failing. The saddest thing is carrying something valuable your entire life and never using it. People think invisibility is a confidence problem. I don't. I think invisibility is often a protection strategy. Somewhere in your story, visibility became connected to pain. Maybe speaking up got you criticized. Maybe succeeding made other people uncomfortable. Maybe being noticed led to rejection. Maybe standing out felt unsafe. The brain is brilliant at keeping us alive. When something hurts, it creates a strategy. The strategy says, don't do that again. Mhm. The problem is that the strategy that protected you at 12 is now controlling you at 40. The season changed, the environment changed, the danger changed, but the behavior stayed. What once protected you may now be limiting you. And if we are not careful, we will spend our entire lives obeying rules that no longer serve us. Just because a strategy protected you in one season doesn't mean it belongs in the next. What if you stopped hiding? I want you to imagine something. Imagine what happens when the energy you spend shrinking gets redirected toward becoming. Imagine what happens when you stop editing yourself before you enter the room. Imagine what happens when your gifts stop sitting on the sidelines and start participating in your life. What if visibility is not about attention? What if it is about stewardship? What if showing up isn't arrogance? What if it is responsibility? What if somebody is waiting for the thing you keep talking yourself out of sharing? I think many women are exhausted, not because they are doing too much, but because they are carrying too much. Carrying gifts they are not using, carrying dreams they are not pursuing, carrying assignments they keep postponing. You are tired from carrying what you were meant to release. There is one verse I want to leave with you today that applies to what we're speaking about. Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world." Now, notice Jesus did not say become the light. He did not say earn the light. He did not say prove you deserve the light. He simply declared what was already true. This is important because your value is not waiting on your confidence. Your purpose is not waiting on your perfection. Your calling is not waiting on your approval. The question is not whether you are the light. The question is whether you have been hiding it. Your struggle may explain where you are, but it does not determine who you are. One of the most important questions I ask my clients is not what do you want? It is who are you becoming? Because behavior follows identity. We do not consistently act outside of who we believe we are. If you believe you are invisible, your behavior will support that belief. If you believe your voice matters, your behavior will eventually reflect that belief. The goal is not confidence. The goal is congruence. The goal is alignment between what God says about you and how you show up in the world. The goal was never to become someone else. The goal was to stop hiding who you already are. Now, let's work our process. Own it. Observe your truth. Where are you making yourself invisible? Okay? Work your process. What belief keeps the behavior alive? Now, normalize the behavior. What would the visible version of you do next? Mhm. Most people stop at awareness. They identify the problem and feel relieved, but awareness without action creates frustration. Come on, somebody. You cannot think your way into a new life. At some point, you must behave differently. Insight changes nothing until behavior changes something. Write it down. Not doing 10 things. I don't want you to do 10 actions, just one. One visible step, one courageous conversation, one application, one boundary, one post. One decision that aligns with your future instead of your fear. Because transformation does not happen when you feel ready. Transformation happens when you decide the cost of staying the same is greater than the cost of discomfort when you change. And maybe that is the real question today. Not who benefits when you shrink, but how much longer are you willing to keep paying the price for it? Healing is not learning how to disappear better. Healing is learning how to show up honestly. If this video resonated, do not let it become another message you nodded along with and went back to your old patterns after. That is its own kind of invisibility. Agreeing with the truth, then quietly returning to hiding. Take one step. If this conversation today made you uncomfortable, good. Because discomfort is often the first sign that truth has found something we've been avoiding. The question is, what are you going to do with what you just discovered? If you're tired of shrinking, tired of second guessing yourself, tired of carrying dreams, goals, and assignments that never seem to move beyond good intentions, then I want to personally invite you to my masterclass. Why am I stuck? Because being stuck is rarely about motivation. It's usually about a pattern, a belief, a behavior, a story you've been telling yourself for so long that it started sounding like the truth. 90-minute masterclass, we're going to uncover what is really keeping you stuck, why awareness alone is not enough, and how to begin creating the behavior shifts necessary for lasting change. You will walk away with practical tools, reflection exercises, and a clear understanding of what needs to change so you can stop circling the same mountain and start moving forward. I like that. Towards the end of this video, you will see a QR code. Scan it and register for the class today. Don't wait until you feel ready, because growth rarely begins with readiness. It begins with a decision. I am no longer willing to stay where I am. And maybe that decision starts today. And next week, we're closing out our June series on desire with one of the most important conversations we've had all month. What growth actually costs. Because many women say they want to change, but very few have counted the cost of becoming. We're going to talk about why you keep stopping right before the breakthrough, why comfort keeps pulling you back into old patterns, and what it takes to stay committed when growth becomes uncomfortable. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it, and share this with a woman you love, because the woman who needs the conversation is probably already in your contacts. You were not created to shrink. You were not created to hide. You were not created to spend your life asking permission to take up space. You were created to grow. You were created to contribute. You were created to become. Until next time, healing is not learning how to disappear better. Healing is learning how to show up honestly.